Welcome back to the next video in our series on generative art in Python. This, for the first time, is a bit of art that I created myself, so this is not somebody else's work that I recreated in Python. Now, what is it that I did here? Well, I started in this first row by a bunch of times simulating 2 points and then connecting them with a straight line. Then in the next row, I always simulated 3 points. So you can see that there's these little triangles. Sometimes the points are too close together for you to see the triangle, but it's always 3 points and they are connected to another. In the third row, it's then 4 points that are connected to one another. Now, of course, the paths as we are going through the 4 points each, they can intersect. So one path can intersect itself. And this is why you're not seeing perfect squares or rectangles or anything like that. No, the shapes are highly irregular. And as we go down the canvas, the shapes become more and more elaborate because the paths involve more and more points. And then if you look at it, in its entirety, it kind of looks like a weird alphabet that somebody, wrote down on a piece of paper. And I think this is some interesting art. And well, if you like it, then let's hop over to Python and get coding. Okay, so I have created this new script, which I called letters.py. And here we have this basic setup that you have seen in the other videos as well. I am importing the turtle functionality. I then import our cool setTheme function from our theme script. I'm also importing the random module. And then I have set the theme, which we'll be working with. And then down here, I'm just exiting out of the tracer, or I'm reintroducing the tracer. And then I'm giving us the option to just close our turtle window by clicking on it. So let's run this. There's our empty canvas. I can click on it and it disappears. We are ready to code. Now, as before, we have this loop, which kind of creates these little boxes. Of course, we're not drawing the boxes, but we're drawing within the boxes, right? So we have this double loop structure once more. So I can copy this from over here. So let's take this over here. And now we just have to adjust these values in here, because now we have a canvas of size 800. So this 400 can actually stay. But here, now it's 1200. So 1200 means that with 1200 we have, now it sort of depends on what margin you would like to have. But for now, I'm just going to make it 400 by 400. We can change this later on anyway. Now we have to specify a size. I'm going to pick 80 for now. This will be the size of the letters, so to speak, okay? And then we have to specify how many points, that is, we are connecting in each of these rows. So let's just have a variable, which I'll call n, and I'm just going to be setting it to well, we can start with 2, actually. And, well, canvas height 800, that 400, no, you wouldn't want that. So let's go for 300 right now. Okay, let's simulate our starting point. I'm going to call it the original point. So px, that's our x value. I'm not going to be using x because I already have that for the general position of the letters. So I'm just going to be using px here. And here we'll say random.uniform. This will be random. And now I'll say, well, x and y are where we are located on the canvas. But now we have to sort of factor in the size of the letter. And here what I'll do is I'll say size divided by 4, and then x plus size divided by 4. And this means that, or actually what we could do, we could put this x over here. Maybe this is a little bit easier to understand. So minus size 4 and plus size 4, this is sort of what we are adding on top in terms of where we are exactly within our hypothetical box in which each letter is drawn, okay? Then we'll do the same with y. Now, this is our original point of where our weird, is that a polygon? I don't think it's a polygon if the lines intersect, but I'm no mathematician. So where our shape starts. And now we're going to go through each edge of our shape. And we'll always have a starting point and an ending point for each of the different lines. So let's define this thing, which I'll call a start point, which will change as we traverse every edge of our path, of our shape, right? So this is the difference between the original point and the starting point. So set start point, this is wrong. Set start point to the original point, okay? So for now, we'll say px, well, px start is equal to px, and py start is equal to py. Now we'll move to the starting point. How do we do that? We'll lift up our pen up, and then we'll go to px start, py start, there we go. And then we put down our pen. And once we've done that, we can draw the shape. And draw shape. So, how many edges are we to draw? So for I in range n, obviously, that's how many shapes we are going to be drawing. We have to have a random endpoint. So random endpoints, and I'm going to call that px end, not px start. And then py end, same thing. And that is equal to x plus random dot uniform. We can actually just copy this, add this down here, and then we'll do the same thing with y plus this. And yeah, there we go. That's our random endpoint. And then we draw the connecting line, and then we can do that just saying go to px end and py end. Okay, and then we have to reset the starting point. Reset starting point, because now we're going back to, well, we're not going back, but we're updating it for the next iteration of that loop. So we'll say px start is now equal to what px end was, and py start is equal to py end. And at the very end, so once we've traversed these n many points, we want to go back to the very original point for the shape to be closed, okay? And that's why we stored this in a separate variable, which I called simply px and py. So now here, we'll say go back to original point. So go to px and py. So let's run this for now and see what happens. And there we go. So I obviously messed up the margins because we were starting somewhere up here. And let's go here. So for y in 400, the canvas height is okay. Yeah, this this was not supposed to happen. I wanted to reduce y minus 300. Let's run this, and there we go. Here is our little alphabet. It's sort of shifted to the left, I believe, so we have to adjust for that as well. So let's just add in minus 400 plus size maybe. And there we go. I think now it's in the center. And yeah, now it's all triangles. Why is it all triangles? Well, we're starting with n is equal to 2 points, but then we're going back to the starting point. So let's set this to 1. Now we can see it's just lines. But n is not increasing, right? So that's the problem here. And let's just, while we are going through y, and once we have done that, once we've gone back to the original point, let's increase n. Up, no, gotta be n. So n plus equal 1. And boom, there we go. No, this is not working because now it's increasing n within every single row. So we're starting with this simple line, then it's already a triangle, now it has got 4 corners, and now it's already too light. So we gotta just unindent this by 1 indent, and run this again, and there we go. That's our crazy alphabet. Okay, you can play around with this, you can reduce the number of rows or the number of columns, we could even increase it, so we still have plenty of margin towards either side, so we might say, let's make this 600 and 600. Well, make it 500, 500. That adds up to 1,000, and we have 1,200 here. So let's run this. There we go. Now it's filled out a lot more. And you know what? Actually, we have the ability to change colors. So come on, let's change the colors. How do we do that? Well, let's just go up here, set theme, and we'll simply say pen color is equal to red. And there we go. Now it's this super bright red color. Obviously, if you use predefined colors, they're typically just, very bad choices of the RGB values, which give you these skanky looking colors. And yeah, you might have to play around with this and import your own color palette and define them the way that we have in the theme up here, where we defined this ourselves. And then it's just a bit more pleasing to the eye if you don't use these super harsh colors such as, red or green. I mean, I think the green is sort of okay on this background, but yeah, you can still do better. And we could also, introduce different colors as we go through the canvas here. I'm going to be working with random RGB values for a moment, even though that's never a good choice because the colors typically don't look pretty. Anyway, for each row, we'll now say that we'll simulate 3 random values. So we'll say, okay, let's go back to the theme. So we got to have these 3 values here. So R is equal to random dot. We can just say random actually, because that's a random value between 0 and 1. Then we have a green value, random.random, and a random blue value, random.random. And now we can say pen color, and then we'll set this to RGB. Let's see if that works. We run this, and there we go. Now every row has a different color, and I think it would look even better if we did this for every letter. So let's go in here and do it like this, and we'll just say set color. And there we go. Now every letter has a different color. If you wanted to, you could experiment with different color palettes. So you could say something like R, I'm just going to say, for the lack of a better name, I'm just going to call it R prime, is equal to random.random 0 up until 0. No, what? Let's just leave it as is. Do the same thing with green and blue. And now let's multiply this by R prime. And then the same thing down here, green and blue. Okay, now that's not working. Let's just have 1. Let's just call this prime and see if that helps a little. It does help a little. So you see that some of the rows are just more colorful than others. And that's just if prime is a very small number, close to 0, that all of the values are very small and the color becomes very, very dark and is almost black, right? In contrast, if it's a larger number, then we can see different colors. And you can play around with this. I'm a bit too lazy here to go into different color palettes and stuff, but it would be kind of nice to have, say, for example, the letters in one row to be all of the same, like different shades of the same color. I think that would be kind of interesting to see. And you can really play around with this and have a lot of fun. And yeah, I think this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.